Good evening and welcome to the Minions of the Zoo 420 laid back but smoke free edition. I'm your host and well, that's true. I think you have like a note or something, don't you? I'm your host and keeper of the Harry Channel, and with me tonight, our minions, Smoky Functional.
No, it's 100% legal here. Hey.
Oh, it's OTC. OTC Smoky Functional. SkepTock.
Hey, everybody.
And Sora Luna.
Hello.
Aren't you like a crow holding a cigarette or something?
No, that's Canuck. That
What?
is Canuck. He's holding a murder, the potential murder weapon.
Is it a knife?
It's a pencil.
Canuck with
It
a
is
knife.
indeed a knife.
It is a knife. Okay. Excellent. So, we are missing some people. Serenity did a good deed, and now she's tired, so she won't be with us tonight. And Geodes has other friends who aren't us, so he's not going to be here either. Bastard.
Friends?
Yeah.
Friends?
How you doing, Skep? You holding up okay?
If I got it better, I'd have to hire somebody to help me enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it rained like Noah was throwing a party today.
Mm-hmm.
In North Texas. I was actually supposed to get on the road and go up and see my son Mike up in Colorado. I have a new grandson. And we decided to put a 24-hour weather hold on it, which just has the cool effect of enabling me to be on the show tonight and hang out with you guys. It is so good to hear you guys' voices. It's so interesting to think that there might be other people who aren't me, in the world. It just occurred to me just for a moment that there could be somebody else, and then I went right back into focus, self-focus.
Yep.
Of course, like we all do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's good to have some sort of self-identity. I mean, existentialism is kind of fun. You can, because you sort of start off with the proposition that kind of the Cartesian, I think, therefore I am. But then you go, okay, well, what about all this other stuff? You know, what does it all mean?
You get Descartes, I think, therefore I think, therefore I am. But you also get Sartre, you know, but what does it mean? And Camus, does it matter?
But it's literally egocentric.
Right. It is that, you know, it is all Kafkaesque.
Yeah. No, it's funny how much not functional, the angry older woman that we love so much.
Oh, Prospero.
Prospero. It's that Prospero
People
hates
often
Camus so
confuse
much. Yeah. I'm very, very
Minute.
tired. Sorry, go ahead.
So have you been up for 72 hours straight?
No. I'm just weak, unlike you.
Have you had a good week?
It's been a very long week. To train a lot of managing upwards, a lot of trying to convince people that synergy isn't necessarily going to take away from their goals. It's like I said, a lot of managing upwards. It's a skill.
That is why IT controls the world, because of managing up.
Well, I mean, the short version is I ran into a situation where there are so many options that I decided I'm not going to do what I usually do, which is the academic, you know, here's the situation, here's your options, here's the pros and cons. I said,
Yes.
In the interest of everybody's time, I'm just going to tell you what I want to do. It'll be way more efficient.
There's so much discussion, so much potential discussion there. I've decided to make all these decisions for you guys. You're going to thank me for it.
Yeah. And people are saying, well, if you talk to this other person, I said, I will talk to them when I have like an outline of a plan with some dollar signs attached to it. This other person is busy and important, and I don't need them to solve this problem. I just need to solve this problem for them. I don't need them to solve it for me. I need to solve it for them because that's my job.
Right.
Yeah.
As long as everybody understands whose problem, who's being hired to solve. That's the thing you run into sometimes. Some people have the idea that they think their problem is why everybody's there. And that's not.
Well, let me give you a quote, Skep. This is a quote from this is an actual quote from an actual important person.
Okay.
Okay, he said this in an actual business setting. I don't pay you this much to tell me what I can't do.
I know who that sounds like.
It's nobody you know.
Okay.
Okay, it's not anybody famous. I'm punchy tonight. Okay, but anyway, we're glad you're here, Skep. If you have to tap out early, let me know. And but hopefully we can keep it entertaining, and if you won't nod off on us. Hi, Functional.
Die.
Hi.
Hi. So you were on Gunsky's show earlier today?
Yeah. He does his normal Sunday show, Quippers every Sunday, obviously. Except for today because he was like going to some like all male burlesque show or something in New York
The
City
cement
tomorrow.
convention, probably.
Yeah, they were dancing on cement or something.
Yeah, well, you know,
actually,
the hospitality cement boys.
just quickly, given recent events, I know I don't live there anymore, but it's still, near and dear to my heart. That being the United States.
Mhm.
I just really needed to say something aloud, if I may.
Yeah, sure.
Please.
Whoever, owing allegiance to the United States, levies war against them or adheres to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere, is guilty of treason and shall suffer death or shall be imprisoned not less than 5 years and fined under this title but not less than $10,000 and shall be incapable of holding any office under the United States. We don't need to delve into it. I think everybody kind of knows what I'm referring to.
Mhm.
Yes.
Actually, there are options. I'm not sure you've
Or
actually
maybe we will
identified
talk about
them
it later, but,
exclusively.
like, I just, in case, we tend to not just jump on whatever the topic du jour is.
We have
I just
many
needed to get
topics.
that off my chest because it's so disgusting to have seen them all waving these little fucking yellow and blue flags and cheering on a foreign nation while their own backyards are burning. It's infuriating. It's saddening. It's maddening.
Yeah, I know smart, decent, educated people who actually believe that all the inflation is just being caused by corporate greed. You know, and it's just like you're raising 4.5 trillion, you're spending 6 trillion, you're making up the difference by printing money, fiat currency, and then having the Federal Reserve buy the bonds that you issue to cover the shortfall. That's fine.
Well, there's
It's fine.
Like several hundred grubby hands at each step, just taking a small cut here and there and everywhere.
Yeah, well, this isn't the Saturday night let's all slit our wrists stream. This is the Saturday night.
No!
Let's just keep it a little bit light.
I
See,
did
now I'm
see a very
sad.
interesting indie movie called Late Night with the Devil.
Okay.
And it's a very simple premise. It's he's a late night talk show host in the same time as Carson, so he's like, that's his main competition, him and Carson. And it's a horror movie, and so you got to kind of be into that genre, but not necessarily. But it does some really interesting things, and I was like, really gave me I know, again, I said horror movie. I know I'm a little weird, but it kind of gave me a warm feeling in the cockles of my hearts, because I was like, hey, this wasn't terrible. This was interesting and made you think and cool. Because then I watched Rebel Moon Part 2, and I'm like, oh, right. Oh, why did I do this to myself?
So there's a function. There is, it's gonna be a long night. There is a comment in the chat from JB, which I think you need to address, Functional. Says,
Well, actually, it's not Space Marines.
now yell about female space marines. Lol, JK.
I'm tired of both sides.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what Quiz said to me the other day in Discord, but it was akin to they're both fucking got insane people extremes on both sides, and they're the loudest voices, and everybody just needs to like fuck off. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, it's dumb, it's stupid. I don't support the company financially. I make money off of the company and what they do. I won't leave the hobby, just like I won't leave the D&D hobby or whatever. I just won't give the company my money. If I need to, I don't need to buy the newest, bluest editions. I can go and play 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons and be just as happy.
Yeah.
Because the systems aren't what matter. It's the people you play with. That's all that really ever has mattered to me, at least, because I've had amazing games of Warhammer or D&D or whatever, and it was the people. It wasn't the rule set. It wasn't the. I honestly remember when I was in high school and I first got into Warhammer. A friend of mine didn't have the money for Warhammer, but he had a collection of like the little cast army men, and he used those. Everybody was happy. It was a good time. It just
Hell, use chess pieces. It's fine.
well with the innovation of 3D printing and some of these master sculptors who are sculpting these 3D designs, and then you can print them at home with your 3D printer. Like they're so some people are corporations are so out of touch with how things have evolved and changed that they cannot let go. What was it? Disney. I'm sorry to go off on another tangent. Disney did the same thing. They're like, hey, they want to basically move back to a model of television where you get fed commercials and you have to pay outrageous prices, but you get multiple channels. And I'm just sitting there going, do these people, like, how are these people the economic juggernauts in their field when they piss all over their customer base, and they're so simply like out of touch with reality and technology and innovation?
It's not the dumbest thing
boggles
I've
my
ever heard.
mind.
I mean, they used to serve really good food on the trains, and then they decided, well, people like airplanes more than us. Those are our competitors. We should feed people the same kind of food on trains that they have on airplanes, because this good food
That's
appears. Yeah,
sad.
it's like
I think we should just make airplane travel,
it's like, do you hear the words coming out of your mouth? This is totally what happens when people get into a bubble. You get a bunch of yes men, you get a bunch of people huffing their own farts, and they just say stupid stuff. And by the time they walk out of the room, they're all patting themselves on the back because of this great idea that they had. God, I'm cynical. Hey, Skep, before we sorry, I'll be with you in a moment. Before we go much
No
further,
worries.
would you please offer greetings to the people in chat?
Excellent idea, actually.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody in chat. Let me get over to human land here.
And do snuggle up with your microphone.
I shall.
Okay.
Sorry, I've switched browsers here. I'm running a little Firefox this evening, trying to run a little bit skinnier.
Okay.
And all my stuff it's all gone. There it is. All right. And we do have a chat.
We
Oh,
do.
boy.
Start with
We do have
Assassin.
a chat. Assassin is here. Duck Dog is here. And Badger is here. Hey, guys. Nice to have you this evening. JB is here. Welcome. Let's see. Assassin says, now Harry can breathe the same air as such stupid people without suffocating. It's something I will never understand. Yeah, I truly understand that myself. He's a smart guy.
I try to be tolerant.
Yeah.
You'd be
Duck
surprised.
Dog, like me, is sick of the rain.
Well, people are just people who are otherwise very smart are just economically illiterate. They just don't understand.
Can be, yeah.
Yeah, they don't understand economics. But before we go off on that little tangent, hi, Sora.
Hello.
Before she murders
Anything you
with
would
her
like
saw.
to discuss before we start talking about why Chris Pratt is innocent and could never do anything wrong?
Well, I'm alone here for the girly things, but I just want to put out in the universe. Nail wraps are back on the mainstream, which are basically like these pieces of like pre-done nail polish that are like designed, and you can just stick them to your nail and
Mhm.
smush them down, and they bond to your nails. Great. I'm just putting it out there. I wanted to come back. It's a very Y2K thing. So I'm hoping. So come on, Gen Z. This is your
Wow.
time. Bring back the good stuff. But that's it. Other than that, we've had a beautiful day, but the weather has turned.
Okay, have you... Oh, let's get rid of that. Have you ever seen this brand? Because I just kept seeing these
Oh yes, I
advertisements.
quite like it.
Is this actually...
Yes.
It's a really
No,
cringy
they have
name.
some really. Yes, they do. And they have. It's a terrible name. They actually have really nice but very expensive candles. I
Mhm.
do have a couple. There's one that's like tomato something, tomato garden or kitchen garden something to
Mhm.
that effect. It's very nice.
Oh, that reminds me, I have a cilantro seedling in the car. Anyway, yeah, I don't... I can't think of a time
ignore
I've
the
ever
brand
wanted
name.
a candle to smell like anything. In fact, the less a candle smells like anything, the happier I am.
So is this like cowboy crotch stench?
No, they have everything. They have like your sweet scents. They
Mm-hmm.
have your like stuff you burn in the kitchen, so like it smells nice, like herb. To use a sanguine word, herbaceous smell.
Emphasis on the
and then you
H.
And then they're just fancy
Yeah.
luxury candle manufacturer. That's all.
Boy smells.
Well, shall we start with the Chris Pratt story?
Yes.
Okay, so Chris Pratt, across the street from his mother-in-law, who's Arnold Schwarzenegger's ex-wife. His wife is Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter. He bought an iconic mid-century house across the street from his mother-in-law, and it's a Craig Elwood production. It's been documented by Julia Schulman, the famous photographer. If you're into mid-century architecture, this is like a big deal. Okay, this is like a very iconic piece of real estate,
He destroyed it?
but not on like any sort of protected list. Yeah, he destroyed
It looks like
it.
a Holiday Inn.
He
Looks
destroyed
like
it.
an old
That's
Holiday Inn.
that's what that is. And now he's going to build a 15,000 square foot ranch house. Now that's going to be like his forever home, and it happens to be across the street from his, like I said, his mother-in-law. I can totally see why he wants to build his forever house there, but there are some people who are massively pissed off.
Onto the new house? Could you have not saved something? Oh my god.
Yeah. Oops.
Mind you, he's a movie star. That's a lot of glass.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people can easily peek into there and be creeps. So
It's the house he did. It's not the house he wants. He wants his dream house, and he wants it across the street from his mother-in-law.
yeah, I know.
So the question is, I mean, nobody got hurt. It's just a beautiful object, right? Are beautiful objects more important than the rights of this guy to do whatever the hell he wants to do with his hard-earned money?
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
But we all sort of want to live in a beautiful world. I mean, I can understand why people are annoyed. It's kind of offensive, but he has every right to do it.
I think one of the big problems is that this kind of mid-century modern, the old with the beautiful quality material is just not made anymore. Whether because to get that quality, it's unattainable for a lot of even wealthy people because just the price of building materials is ridiculous. But everyone wants it cheap and fast, so you're not going to have the same. It's not going to look the same. And you have history attached to this. It doesn't mean anything, right?
Well,
not really.
Well, there's enough history that a famous photographer has a picture that's in the J. Paul Getty Trust Research Institute of this property. It's pretty significant, but I think it fell just short of getting protected status. If it was a historical landmark,
that about covered it.
Yeah, if it was a historical landmark, it's fine. And I love mid-century stuff. Okay, so don't get me wrong, but I also want the government to get off my dick. So
exactly.
But I will say, I think less of him.
It is his property. Like he did purchase it, and it's like you can do whatever you want if it's free to do so, right?
Yep.
But Barack Obama says he didn't buy that. He didn't own that.
Yeah. But
He
it is
didn't build that.
it is kind of almost bordering on being spiritually unconscious to
But it is,
to,
yeah.
to do this.
Her-
I think less of him, and I probably shouldn't, but I kind of do.
No,
Yeah.
this I take back my. He can never do it. It's usually the reason that I don't think he can do anything wrong because people usually attack his beliefs and his wanting to have a more traditional family, etc. And I think that's commendable. But this,
Yeah.
he broke my heart.
Well,
Yeah.
But okay, at the same time, we don't know. What if there was mold or termites or I don't know what you guys get in California, but like
Yes.
maybe there was some sort of
annoying neighbors
We get mold, we get termites. Yes.
and annoying.
and maybe the foundation was cracking or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything that could be just like it's a perfectly serviceable house. and he
Why
just-
it would be condemned?
Well, why that one? I guess is the question. Why not like the one next door? And it's because it's the one
was on
across.
sale.
It's the one across the street. It was
Yeah.
$12.5 million.
Unfortunate-
The one
It's an unfortunate
sale.
confluence of events, but he certainly has the right to not.
Yeah.
So, Skep.
More important to me to have the government off my dick.
So you think okay? So he's a Christian, and I was thinking about this issue in terms of what's important to people. Now, for people who aren't really practicing members of a religion, you have to find. I'm actually trying to make a serious point here, so this isn't a joke.
Gotcha.
There's a tendency to try to find meaning in other places,
Sure.
and I think there's probably a fairly. This is one of these conflict division things. I think to Chris Pratt, these sort of worldly things have a lot less significance than they might to just random wonks who care about mid-century architecture. And it's possible that to him, this had very little value, not because he's artistically unconscious, but because his focus is so much on his family and the dream home he wants to build, that the fact that this was across the street from his mom's house, it probably didn't even register to him that it was like something that he might consider not doing. Because
Right.
his priorities are
dawn
just so
on it.
different.
Exactly.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all right. I almost bored myself there. But I mean, you understand.
I mean it's a good it's yeah, I guess. But then at the same time, it's like you're like, oh, you're so this is why we need organized religion. You're so morally bankrupt. You put items, objects in place of other spiritual healing or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Us mammals are pattern recognizers. We look for meaning in everything, even when there is no meaning. We still reflexively look for meaning everywhere.
Let me
We're all
see if I
trying to
can.
solve the mystery of the universe,
Yeah. Well,
more or less.
so in terms of objects and the fact that they have like meaning to us, like for instance, I have a cup that was purchased by a friend of mine at the gift shop in the village where the TV series The Prisoner was shot. And it's like, it was from Portmeirion in Wales, and it's just a coffee cup, or in my case, a teacup, like any other cup. But I admit that it has significance, even though it didn't belong to a family member thing. It has significance because of the connection to the place, because there's a place connection to something that I like, or something that I think is important or cool. And so this thing here is a lost original USS Enterprise model from Star Trek, returned to Gene Roddenberry's son. As the kids would say, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, what is the connection of Gene Roddenberry's son to all this sort of stuff? His connection is obviously that this was something that was important to his father, right? So this, to him, there's a family collection to this sort of thing. But to a lot of other people, there's this emotional connection of anything involved with the first Star Trek coming out.
Right. Absolutely.
And so, but in reality, it's really just a bunch of plastic and metal, and it has very little intrinsic value. All of its value is because of how it relates to other things. I'm just curious how do you guys like obsess about things, objects, because they're important to you for reasons which really don't make a whole lot of sense?
Yes.
Objects in my personal life, like the first baseball bat I ever had, that kind of thing, Is that what you mean, or
It's exactly what I mean.
something? So, I do tend to do that with a few things. My very first guitar, I still have that. It's still playable. Not only playable, it's in great shape. There are a few things like that. I've still got my first telescope, which is just a telescope corpse at this point. But I still have it because someday I'm going to fix it.
Yeah. You
got
get right on that.
I've got 2 successor telescopes.
Well, your guitar is actually functional. It does have an intrinsic value as a functioning instrument.
Yes, it is a functional instrument.
I am an instrument.
Or possibly a tool.
It's actually kind of funny that with the previous story you mentioned, like, because of who Pratt is, he tends to have a higher value than than just physical worldly objects. When myself, as an anti-theist, I kind of have that same, not same, but sort of outlook on just physical objects of things. So where I like cool things, don't get me wrong, I like having my tools, my computer, my paintbrushes.
You're
my
an
airbrushes.
anti-materialist.
But I just don't. I don't think that an object for me can have any real intrinsic, just sort of like emotional value. To me, it forever will be just an object. Like, even though I still have, like my urn of ashes, and like it did, there was meaning there, but now it's just an urn with some ashes in it. It's more symbolic than anything, and I don't, if I lost my favorite, it's so hard to even quantify, like my favorite paintbrush, whatever. Okay, I'd be a little pissed, but I'd get over it quickly and be like, whatever. Or a memento from one of my late parents, or something like that. Like, it would just be like, that sucks. Oh well, moving on.
Can you
Answer your
be?
question,
Can you
no,
be?
I don't obsess over anything.
Well, can you be sentimental?
Yeah, like,
but,
if,
but
like,
not
for instance,
about objects.
If I had this model of the very first Enterprise, even though I'm not the biggest like TUES fan, I still love TUES. I still recognize the impact that Gene had on not just cinema but culture and Western society. It would be a cool thing to have, but if it got smashed or somebody stole it or whatever, I'd be like, that sucks, and I might be mad and pissed off for a little bit. But it's more of a utilitarian, but that was my property kind of thing, rather than it had any sort of emotional value to me. I don't know, but I'm a fucking weirdo.
No, I understand.
Nobody's going to argue that.
Yeah, well,
like even when I was talking about Warhammer real quickly, like, again, it's all about the human connections. The things that do have extreme value in my life are these connections I have with other living creatures, most of which happen to be humans. But my and I hope nobody takes this the wrong way, but the respect and care I have for my friends, I have for my animals through my life.
How
my
dare
cats,
you
my
like
dogs.
people and animals more than things? How dare you? Nobody's going to think less of you for that position.
No, but I think what I'm trying to say is it's roughly the same value. Like, I don't see
What a weirdo.
my cat's value being any greater or lesser than, say, Skep. I love them both equally, and I appreciate them both equally. Rather than an object or whatever.
Well, I can be very sentimental about.
Now the next
objects.
question to ask me is: are women objects? And that
No. We would never do that.
We don't objectify women.
We did talk about the Thoughtscape last week, so still very proud of that. Very proud of
We
that.
have a whole segment of trying to hook Geodes up with one of those
Prison women.
prison hotties.
Yeah.
Oh, mugshotties.
Yeah.
Mugshotties.
Oh,
yes.
it's coming back at some point. That's going to be a reoccurring thing, just not every show.
Was there a story behind this? Just to come back to the article.
You mean like how they
Like, was it
found it? Was
locked
it in
and then
somebody's
there's
garage?
like-
That sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Well,
I'm curious. Just, Cole's notes it.
it went up for auction on eBay last year, but it was quickly taken down. At the time, Eugene Roddenberry Jr. was working to get the model authenticated and returned to the family, and that has now happened. So essentially, it showed up on the internet and things took place.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't like the car from Bullitt that was just sort of in a farm for 30 years.
Yeah, right.
And then was sold for, which is really just a shitty old Mustang that hasn't even been refurbished, but because of the connection to the movie, $120 million.
Yeah, because I know that they've been building the virtual library of all things Gene. But I also caught wind maybe a couple years ago of them, the estate, trying to get as much stuff together to what's the word? Like put it in a museum, but not a museum, like its own preservation society kind of thing. So maybe that's where that's going to go.
Well, Sora made a noise when I was talking about objects having sort of a value that was more than their intrinsic value. What did you have anything you wanted to add, like an example?
Yes. Like I still have like my toys, like my infant toys. Like there's 3 that if anything should, and they're getting old. If anything should happen to them, I would lose.
You'd lose your
Like
mind.
I would cry. Like, not gonna lie, I will cry beyond if they deteriorate beyond saving. And when we flooded the basement, I lost so many books, like childhood books. So many. And yeah, we took photos of them and whatever. I don't know how much money they're gonna get for that, but it's not about, it's like the memories with it, the first time reading them. Some of them were vintage books that I found, and those can't be replaced. You can replace some of the ones, but some are like kids' books that are out of print. You can't even find them online. For me, that was a big blow. Anytime anything breaks, like a really like sentimental like earring or something, that it would cost too much. Like I still have the object, but fixing it for how delicate it is, it's not worth really. I mean, it's worth it in the sense
keep
that
broken things.
Yeah,
I do too. I do exactly that.
but it's so expensive to fix, and you want to fix it properly, right?
Yep.
But yeah, it's that stuff. Like, I cry over things.
But
Oh, and I always get mad over things. This is going to be completely irrational.
Okay.
But I have to tell you this, just so you understand. This is very irrational.
Okay.
So my paternal grandfather had a lot of stuffed animals, like, in the apartment, in his place. And there was one particular bear that whenever we visited, and, from Canada, went there to Romania, that was the one I would snuggle with. And I never took it back because he said, "Oh, you can have it." You're like, "Take it with you." I said, "No. This is the bear for when I'm visiting." I was very attached to that bear. My father decided he had. This is a year I wasn't there, and I was already older. I think, was I already out of high school? May have been out of high school. My grandfather had passed already. He was gone, and he decided to take this bear and give it to the infantile/toddler child of some random third cousin of his that I've never met, he's never talked about, randomly came to visiting because I think they were looking for money or something because they just had a kid. And he decided, of all the toys that were there, oh, yeah, I'm going to give this one. I know the significance of this bear to my own child, but I'm going to give the kid this because his kid was crying. Now, I'm an adult at this point, and I understand, again, the irrational anger that this invokes to this day is a grudge I will carry to my death. I will bury myself with this grudge. Okay?
The moral of today
in
is
case
don't
you're
cross
wondering,
Sora.
Carry over.
I have very little grudges in my life. This is one of them.
No,
you have to know when to carry a grudge. And that's proper.
No,
that's
well,
a proper
because it's
grudge.
like, it's because I remember asking my dad, was this your toy? He's like, oh, no. I think, his mom got it from somewhere. I think maybe a patient of hers gave it to him, and then they just had it in the house.
Well,
And then it was given to me, but I didn't take it because in my head it makes sense.
it's Visitor
I
Bear.
have Canadian stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's-
This is
visiting
my
bear.
my grandpa's bear.
Yeah, Visitor
Oh,
Bear
I
has
think
to stay there.
that's
Visitor bears.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've handed me the most perfect segue I could have possibly hoped for. I had to check to make sure. Am I accidentally showing you the spreadsheet? And no, I'm not.
No, you're
But
not.
It's such a bit of kismet or synergy or something that you said what you just said. Are you familiar with a TV show called The Repair Shop?
Oh, the
don't
repair
think so.
shop. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, it is this TV show here.
Welcome
I'm
to
gonna
the
kill
repair
the.
shop,
I'm gonna kill the sound a little bit.
Loved but broken treasures
This is amazing. It is absolutely brilliant.
are brought back
Love
to
to
life.
see
Welcome
reconditioning
this.
videos. It's great
It's
stuff.
pretty marvelous.
Furniture.
Yeah, I
So
like these.
it's a show where people bring in the stuff that they care about that's all bus up
And,
and-
these guys fix
and
it.
these guys fix it, and they do fine art restoration, fine art paintings. They have people there who fix clocks and do metal work, carpenters, people who do upholstery. There's a leather work, like an expert leather worker, and these people are all like at the top of their game. And they take just crap that shows up, and it isn't like Pimp My Ride where they just randomly buy like another car and then pretend, here's your car, woo, it's all fixed.
These are real things that mean something.
These are real things that mean things to people, and these people actually, fix these things. And it has been going on for many seasons, and they've been putting out the episodes, including the HD ones. They've actually just finishing season 5 and starting season 6, so it's there on YouTube. You can just go watch it. It is 100% wholesome. It is the most wholesome thing you could
It is
ever hope to
wonderful.
watch. It is
It's
wonderful.
absolutely wonderful to watch.
Yeah, it's a fantastic show.
If they have any toys, I will cry.
They have 2 ladies who restore things like teddy bears and plush
Teddy
toys.
bears.
That's
Oh my
all
And
they do.
dolls and toys.
That's
yeah,
all
yeah.
they do.
Okay.
The bear
So-
ladies.
I cannot go to toy museums. There's a lot of places that have toy museums because looking at the teddy bears there makes me sad.
Oh, this is totally the grab a couple dogs, get some ice creams, put on your jammies and just sit in front of the TV for an hour.
While they jam a fist into your chest and tug at those heartstrings.
No, I mean, there's a little bit of this, my
Some of it gets a
dad
little
died,
heavy,
and
dude.
can you fix
Some of
this
it
thing?
gets heavy.
Have you
It's
watched it?
very cool.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
and I've seen other online shows where they do like restoration type stuff for like various things.
I think this one is hands down the best of those sort of restoration things.
You nailed it on the head when you said it's like wholesome beyond wholesome.
It is wholesome beyond
It
wholesome.
really is. Sorry, Skep, what were you saying? Where I stepped all over you?
I'm sorry. That's okay. Just move on.
Okay,
Sorry.
Yes.
sorry. I mean,
Nothing significant.
we all got a little excited and started talking at the same time.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
So Sora, if you haven't seen this, I recommend it in no uncertain terms, and to everybody in the chat. So, but it is weird, this whole idea of objects having this weird extra value because we feel certain ways about them. I mean, for reasons which I'm not going to go into, I don't have anything that belonged to my father. Not a single thing. At one point, I had like a piece of jewelry, and that's just gone. Okay. And I was sitting here feeling kind of bad about it. It's like, why do I not have anything that belonged to my father? And I was sitting there and thought about it, like, except for half of my DNA. It's
Yeah, I
like,
was
how much
gonna say,
connection?
What about your chromosomes?
How much connection do I need to somebody who, I mean, so I talked myself out of being sad about it, but it does. I mean, it bothers me a little bit, but when I thought about it differently, it became okay. I'm not going to beat myself up about this because why should I? Half my
Now-
DNA was from him, so fine.
You didn't get cheated on DNA.
No, it's fine. It's good. So anyway, I was actually thinking about talking about this for a long time, and I didn't find the right thing. But then I saw the Chris Pratt story, and I thought, that might be the right gateway into this topic. But I think we've exhausted it sufficiently.
Oh, one last thing before we move on.
Sure.
I'm just thinking, I hope if they did have any finishings that could be saved, that people who reclaim things would have gone and pulled it.
I looked in the
'Cause that
news
would
and it
be
sounded
nice.
like they just went in there and just said, "Nope, gone."
Nope. Okay.
I don't think it was important to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yes.
Well, while we're on the topics that are on the thumbnail, how about we make fun of Apple a little bit?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I was, as one does, I was on the interwebs and launched a new browser window. And since I had the Apple browser up, it showed me Apple advertisements, because why wouldn't I want to see advertisements from Apple when I'm already using their stupid products? And let's make this a little smaller. This thing came up, and I decided to screenshot that, and it just has this ad: Vision Pro. You'll never see everything like this before. You've never seen everything like this before. And I look at this ad, and I'm like, it caused an irrational anger in me because not only can you see something like this before, you could just see it. There's a place called Marin Headlands.
Right. I was going to say that's the view from Marin.
You just go there.
Right. Yeah, the headlands just over by the Golden Gate Bridge, and
you know, it's like, well, you could spend $3,000 something to look like a complete tool and do this,
Yeah,
or you could just go touch grass. You could,
go drive across the Golden Gate Bridge, take that second exit.
yeah. And the Marin Headlands Park is actually pretty nice. You know, like I said, you cross that thing, you climb around. They have a bunch of trails, and the difference is you can actually you can breathe the salt air, you can feel the wind. You can actually touch the grass. It's a fantastic little park, and the views are just outstanding. But you can go hiking. You can go down to the ocean on the other side, on the Pacific Ocean side. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic park.
For some of our listeners, this is that part of reality that people call outside.
Yeah, it's the big blue room.
The big blue room where the temperature is not always the same.
Yeah,
it's a weird place.
and you can bring your dog, Sora.
The ceiling will give you water.
Yeah, there's mountain biking, there's hiking and stuff like that. I just thought that for a company from California to put out this ad,
is
It was
so
very nice. I have visited
self-indulgent,
that area.
so self-oriented, so utterly self-focused vision. We are really going to show you, like, something you've never seen before, and showing you stuff you've seen before.
yeah, it's way better in person. I mean, however exciting it is to use this $3,000 immersive headset thing, if you want to sell that to people, maybe show them things that you can't see in real life. Like, show them like the possibilities of what you can do with augmented reality and things beyond real life. It just seems like a huge misstep from the Apple advertising people, and not making me want to take $3,000 out of my wallet to go spend it on this piece of kit at all.
Yeah, I would agree. That's definitely a vanity ad. It's a poor use of advertising dollars.
I think it's a very poor use of advertising, but Functional is going to tell me I'm wrong.
Well, not necessarily. I'm a little conflicted because for the near 8 billion other people in the world, what percentage of those have the mobility, economically, physically, what have you, or even drive or want at this point? Because you couldn't get me into your state if you fucking pulled me kicking and screaming, to get to this Vista.
Mm-hmm.
Now the conflict comes because yes, it's a $3,000 piece of frivolous machinery that they have to blow smoke up people's asses and be like, hey, look at this, and then that changes. So you're right, and the advertising is quite self-indulgent and misses the mark, because the type of people that would be able to afford these things could indeed just go to this Vista. They are the people who have economic mobility and almost entirely physical mobility. Like they can go there. They can go to Ellis Island. They can go to
You're making a really good, important point. You're making the point that that it's an upper class privilege, basically, to be able to afford that type of not mobility, but having the economic comfort to be able to take that kind of a discretionary trip.
Well,
Yeah.
hold on. There are people. Hold on. There's functional. This is directed at you. There are, you know, Klaus Schwab and 2030 and all that sort of stuff. There are definitely people who think that your mobility, your ability to just choose instead of spending $3,000 on this, to instead spend money on a plane ticket, go to San Francisco, eat delicious food, and go stand on this mountain for yourself. They don't want you to have that choice. They say you shouldn't have cars. We should restrict airline travel. No, I don't want to take reality and replace it with expensive electronics.
Exactly.
Okay, that's my point. And obviously the entire world can't come here, but millions and millions and millions of people go to San Francisco every year from all around the world. Those are the people that want to. But you know, in Serenity State, there are beautiful things that you can see. There's obviously beautiful things where you live. There's beautiful things where Sora lives. Hey, Texas is okay. I've heard some good things about it. It's big, apparently. You know, and there's you can go to New Braunfels and go to the Green
It's
Hall.
got the highest posted speed limit in the United States.
Well,
It's
kick ass.
Bypass from Austin to San Antonio, and it is posted at 85 miles an hour. I always take
Respect.
I've taken people down there, and they take pictures of the sign.
Yeah. But I also
and it's that way for about 50, 60 miles, dude.
But I also like places where you want to go more slowly, because because the scenery is really good. My point being that this ad is stupid, and I don't think they should market this as a product as an alternative to going outside and touching grass. I think if you're going to market something like this, you should talk about things that kind of transcend reality, not
the tech bros who like these kind of technological tchotchkes are going to buy them.
Yeah.
And they're the type of people who don't travel very much. They barely go outside as is. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a market for these. It's stupid. But you reminded me something that my sister pointed out to me the other day. The entire city, my city, Toronto, Stealth Ninja changed all the speed limits in the city, dropped them all down by like 10 to 20 kilometers an hour. Just like overnight, just all changed. I was kind of like, what?
Stealth Ninja?
Stealth Ninja, like there wasn't any press release or anything. Just one day, formerly 60 kilometer an hour zone became 40.
Oh, cool.
Because we have a commie as our mayor now.
Well, you should.
Sorry, that mention of the speed limit posting.
You should vote him out.
See, the people that this would help the most and benefit the most would be, you know, the Make-A-Wish kids to be able to be like, I really want to see the Great Pyramids of Giza. Well, little Timmy, we can't fly you to Egypt, but here, have a virtual tour where you can basically explore the entire mapped tombs and everything. Like, and to me, that gives that thing a better purpose. But obviously, that's not the purpose that the company is marketing to or building these things for. So it's kind of like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fucking
Well,
hate
let's
Apple.
see. We've been doing this for 50 minutes and we've covered 3 items. we are moving at a breakneck pace.
We gotta slow down, man.
Yeah, I know.
The
It's like
internet can handle this.
it's like an 85 mile an hour freeway. Okay. So this will be fast.
Stop ranting.
In-N-Out Burger president runs her fast food empire, keeps it simple, affordable, and close. Yeah, In-N-Out Burger doing fantastic. I guess they're going to open an outfit in Tennessee. The main thing about them
Those
is
are good burgers, by the way.
they're great burgers, and Lindsay Snyder doing a fantastic job sticking with the core DNA of the company.
Absolutely.
She's not trying to introduce like fried wontons or anything. I mean, she's
Dance
not.
with them as brung you.
She's making it. She's keeping the DNA of the company exactly the same way, sticking with the core business model. Just keep it fresh, keep it fast, keep it local, and it works. And don't give in to the greed of trying to expand beyond to the point where the product kind of suffers. I like it when companies know what their DNA is and they respect it. I don't think that innovation for the sake of innovation is a good idea at all. If you want to make a new company, just make a whole new company. Don't try to take an existing company with existing IP and existing traditions and move it around. Because sometimes companies die, right? You know, like the Sears isn't around anymore. And that's okay.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah, and that's okay.
They're not supposed to be around. They didn't modernize, Montgomery Ward. They didn't modernize their marketing fast enough. Marshall Field, what happened to them? Same thing.
Yeah. Target killed Mervyn's. The funny thing was that Target and Mervyn's were actually owned by the same company.
Same company, right?
Sorry, were you going to say functional?
Absolutely right.
I was just gonna say, like, if this is true, I've never been there. I've never had the burgers. I've never seen what the environment's like. But like, if she runs a good company and it is 230 stores in 4 states to 402 in 8, like, I mean, that's a massive company that can still retain a certain level of ethics. You don't have to become a faceless, sort of soulless company like so many have that we see. It shows you that, yes, capitalism, I deign to use that word, but like that spirit of economics, of that freedom to run with a good idea and have it become something enormous, doesn't have to corrupt you or the business.
And they actually pay better than most of their fast food places.
That's what I heard.
They pay their employees pretty well. It's a consistent product. It's a good product. But I mean, that's not the point. The main thing that I was trying to get across is you've got a company that's true to its DNA. She's not bothered by the $20 fast food thing. She's not bothered by less. The only thing that bothered them was the fact that they couldn't have their employees be safe, so they closed that one location in Oakland. Other than that, they've never closed a location ever in their entire history. And I hope they never do. And I hope the one in Tennessee is close enough to Kefki that she can have one of these, and she's on her way to Interstate Barbecue. All right.
With all the talk of them, I really want it. Like, oh my God, what I would kill to do like a burger jaunt across the states. Because like, not just In and Out, but I've heard so many things about different smaller, larger chains. Jack in the Box, I've had White Castle. What's some of the other ones?
There's some amazing regional places like Keller's is the big one, advertising the greatest hamburgers on earth.
Yeah,
they're amazing. They're different, more they're very different from an In-N-Out burger. I can eat either one. I love going to Keller's.
Yeah.
You have to adjust for price,
if
though.
They keep it,
because
if there is that local sort of sourcing and everything, the burger you're going to get in upstate New York from that really good place, a really good burger, is going to be a different. There's going to be a different burger, just as good, but it's just different in, Texas. You'll still get a good burger, but it's going to be different. And that's just to geek out a little. That's why I love food as much as I do, because you can run with an idea, the conveyance of food, and it can change from one place to the next and still be just amazing food.
Yeah, it's not hard to make a good burger, but you have to adjust for price and the size. It's one thing to run a company that produces a good, clean, fast burger. No unnecessary frills. Just here's your burger. It's just really good. The lettuce is crisp. The tomatoes are as good as they're going to be for the time of year you buy it in. Everything is decent. The people who are working there are all smiling. The service is good. Everything about it is a great experience. It's fantastic. In and Out. That's what it is. Fantastic. But you can't compare that to a place that's taking like ribeye steak and brisket and hand grinding it in-house And you can produce a $35 burger or a $50 burger. It's easy, and it'll be really, really good. But sometimes you're not in the mood for something with truffles on it and all this other nonsense and foie gras. I mean, I'm not. There's Anthony Bourdain. I think I played the thing, but I played it after the show one time. He said that for his money, In-N-Out Burger was like his favorite restaurant in L.A. You just whatever when you go there. Get off the plane, you go to In-N-Out Burger, and if you show up at the hotel with a bag of In-N-Out Burgers, nobody thinks any less of you. There's no other place you can walk into a 4-star hotel with a bag of fast food and not get looked at.
Absolutely considered normal behavior in California.
Yeah. But anyway, we gotta
and in Texas.
We gotta pick up the pace.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see, we won't do this. Speaking of chefs.
Culver's, that's another good one.
New Orleans chef puts cicadas on the menu at his cafe.
Oh, right.
No.
Yeah, much better than a Culver's hamburger.
Yeah, we're not even going to watch that. Screw these people.
See, like, I understand viral marketing and shock for shock's sake to get people in the door, but come on.
No, don't you want to, if you go to New Orleans, don't you want to eat cicada?
Yeah, absolutely. Just dig right in.
No.
How are they prepared?
I mean, okay, I've had alligator and that was pretty good. I suppose you're like, well, here's another local animal of the area. Might as well try that.
I'm not going full Charles Darwin and just eat everything in the area for the sake of saying that I did. You know about Charles Darwin's weird habit, right?
I did not.
He was
That's funny.
He was part of a society of rich idiots who went out of their way to just try everything, whale, baboon, porpoise, whatever. They would just, if they could find it and cook it and eat it, they would try it. And they were just like these gastronomic thrill seekers.
Which one of them ate people?
What was the
name of it? I don't know.
The name, it was a club.
It was.
It was the name of, I read this in a book. What's the name of that club? They ate. What is it? They ate iguanas and pumas and all kinds of shit.
If they could catch it, they could cook it. They were going to eat it.
What was the name? I can't remember.
Yep, I forget. Yeah. Omnivores Anonymous or something.
Something or other.
Yeah, exactly.
I thank our forefathers for developing animal husbandry and all this other stuff, so that we don't have to eat fucking insects. I hate the notion of eating insects.
Yes.
I've tried a few. It's disgusting.
Have you tried lobster?
Sea bugs are a little bit different. They're crustaceans.
Okay. All right. I want to say I have a white sport coat. Pink crustacean.
That's right.
And the only reason I've tried things like reptile is because I could. And it seems to be just a very human thing to do, is to want to try these types of things. Right? Like, I mean, you can... there's this like long-running joke in sci-fi and science exploration. We're looking for another planet. We're looking for other life to find out one of two things. Can we fuck it? Can we eat it? And it seems to be like that's kind of like, what a lot of people tend to do. Like they want to be adventurous. And...
Some of us would like to talk to it.
And then eat it.
Yeah, possibly.
But, Skep, if we discover this planet full of like these alien space cows and it's like the most delicious meat ever. Holy.
Yeah. I was really afraid of where that was going to go.
Yeah. No, there's no Scotsman here, laddie.
This is planet of the space thoughts.
Yes, exactly. No, I'm going to stay away from that joke.
Okay, so let's just do a quick follow-up in the F around and find out category. So here's our friend from Bakersfield. She's got her bail lowered from $1 million to $500,000, and she's it was posted, and she's wearing a GPS tracking thing. They've released her back into the wild to see where she goes. No, I mean
they've tagged and released.
They've tagged and released her. Now, one fun little thing is it looks like the outfit that she worked for in Oakland that I mentioned has decided to part ways with her. She's just a little too toxic for them.
Front row.
Yeah. She had to turn over her
We
passport.
appreciate your enthusiasm.
Yep.
However, unfortunately, we've come to a point where we can no longer afford you, and as such, we will be parting ways. Here are
Yep.
your papers. Don't sue
Did
us.
they pay her bail?
I don't know who paid her
I
bail.
doubt that very seriously.
They wanted to get the hell away from her, is what they wanted to do.
Sir.
You went into a government building and did what?
Yeah, exactly.
But again, that wasn't that was just the coup de grace. Like, she's done this stuff multiple times before, and part of the other like 10 felonies that she was being charged with were previous online email threats and stuff, and she's gone into but never made that direct, threat before. But she's yelled at them multiple times.
But it's just 8 felonies, or she's going to get probation. 18. It's just 18 felonies. She's going to get probation.
8 for the video that we saw of her telling him, "We know where you live, and we're going to kill you." Blah blah blah. That was 8 because there's 8 members of the board or whatever, and then there were 10 that were tacked on for previous things.
They went
because
back
again,
and
once you get that coup de grace, then they can start pulling the pieces together and be like, "Here you go. Yeah. Here's your bill."
Well, they're putting together a pattern of behavior too, and
exactly
harvesting the resulting charges, and which she deserves. And now, this wasn't, just the result of her going to that meeting and opening her mouth. But I would be surprised if this is anything more than an inconvenience for her. I think she'll be told, okay, we're going to have some counseling. You're going to do 300 hours of community service, and don't do it again. And then,
to get a $500,000 bond,
yes,
it costs money. You pay a fraction of that.
Yep.
And so that $500,000 bond, I think it's 10%.
It is 10%.
So
somewhere around here,
somebody somewhere had to basically say, "I'm going to light $50,000 on fire so little Miss Sweetness doesn't have to rot in a jail cell."
Right.
That's why I asked.
It's an org. That's an org.
That's why I asked if the organization fronted the bail portion, the portion that they had to.
That's not the organization that fronted the bail.
No.
It'll be like Sunshine.
Well, that was going to be my point. Like, there's organizations that protect these types of activists.
Yeah, absolutely.
And once they get into big trouble like this, they'll probably disappear. But they've served their purpose.
Yeah. Did you throw a Molotov cocktail at a police station? Here, let's bail you out.
I would not be surprised.
Another crazy fucking cultural.
I would not be surprised if Sunrise, the Sunrise movement, did not bail her out.
So, since we are in the F around and find out thing, I have this, which is called "Standoff Between Police and Suspect on Highway 580 in San Leandro." ... Would you like to see what it looks like when the police aren't messing around?
Oh, is this the one? Yeah.
They went kissing. Yeah. He's just gonna go kiss that car. You can give him a hug.
Oh yeah.
You're not going anywhere. So.
Is it gas? Is that what that was?
Yeah.
We got
a gas grenade being shot in the
what's
back
this?
window.
New video shows cops confronting Ohio man after he shot an Uber driver.
I shared this with you.
Yeah, we're not going to watch that.
No,
okay.
That was fuel.
No, we don't need to see that poor old bastard. And her. I mean, there's no good outcome there.
There's no winners there.
How about something fun? You want to see something fun, Sora? You're going to like this. This is for Sora. You're going to love this.
Okay.
It's a police officer chasing a pig.
Is this partner? Oh, to get it? Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That guy has. I'll almost guarantee you that guy has 4-H in his back. That guy has been one of those greased pig catchers.
Yeah.
At one of those.
Oh my God.
Because he's got the move. He's got the cutting horse move.
Yeah.
I swear I have seen that at rodeo.
Yeah, he's definitely got 4-H experience.
Forearms.
Yeah.
For open ground, he's diving. It's do or die time. Yeah.
I'll leave this on here for you a little bit, Sora. I don't want you to.
Luckily, I've never had to chase pigs. They've always been penned.
What is the story? Was
that
it
was
just like someone's pet pig
me
ran
dating
off?
my first wife? Right?
Somebody's pig got loose and
Oh God, it's so cute. Look at a baby.
And the officer had to go. It's like, I did not sign up for this, but okay.
It's like, I'm never gonna
Protect,
let this down.
I think it's fantastic that they got this on video.
But someone should send it to him. He needs to keep this.
Yeah.
This should go in his.
It should go in
looks
his
like it's
highlights
laughing.
reel.
Yeah.
The pig looks like it's laughing.
Oh,
Yeah.
we need
Having
the
a great
audio. The
time.
audio seals it. Okay, I can turn the audio on. I don't think it's a problem. Hold on. Whoop. There we go.
I love the Joy Behar sounds at the end.
Can you
miss
imagine
pig
being that
squeals.
person being there at the right time? Oh my God, that's fantastic.
I actually heard today that pandas don't make a noise like normal bears because they're messed up bears. They make like a bleating noise like a goat.
Like goats.
What the hell?
That's what they sound like.
It's almost like he's trying to talk in a 5-note scale, right, Skep? No, don't say that, Harry. That is so culturist, that thing I just implied. It's called a diatonic scale. Embrace it. It's
Diatonic.
really, really good. So much better. I know. I just insulted thousands of years of Chinese history. I apologize. I apologize, just not sincerely. Okay. Okay.
Like pigs. Pigs are friendly. Well, they can be.
Pigs is
They
pigs.
can be smart. Back when I was
Where's that
working
from?
the farm,
Pigs is pigs.
I raised a piglet from piglet to adulthood before slaughter. But for 2 years would follow me around the farm just like a dog. Wouldn't stray from me. Would come when he heard his voice or when he heard me talking. Would come running to the pen as soon as morning would hit. They can be. I don't know if it was intelligence or it's just like recognition and imprinting and all that, or a combination of the both. But it seemed fairly intelligent. His name was Steven.
I got sidetracked by
That's so
pandas. Well, pandas are very sidetracking.
Sora, I was 12. I didn't know what to name a pig.
So shall we move forward before we
Steven
start
or
talking
I
about
like
Good
barbecues?
name. It's a good name for a piglet.
Okay. So let's do some snake oil since Skep is here. You'll like this. I have not one but two spacecraft propulsion stories, both BS as far as I can tell.
Damn.
Okay, both from the same publication. So this is this is that same miracle engine that supposedly has fusion enhanced plasma.
Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, well, there's another article about it. They're saying that they've proven it and it actually works. Just throwing that out there. And then
the fusion is here now.
Fusion is here.
Mr. Fusion.
But who needs
banana
fusion?
peels and
who
rockets.
needs fusion when you can just go full expanse with this? So supposedly some NASA veteran has come up with a propellantless propulsion drive. Try saying that 5 times fast. That physics says shouldn't work. Just produced enough thrust to overcome Earth's gravity, which is why they're saying they need to test it in space. Yeah, they're claiming that because of some weird electrostatic property, they're able to generate thrust at the center of gravity of something. And it's like, there's a reason why this is only being covered in the debrief. Because if this was actually true, it would be front page news on every single
Scientific American.
it would be like covered by mainstream news. It's like, oh yeah. Newton's 3 laws have ceased to be relevant.
'em.
We found an edge case here where just with some electrostatic properties we can move spacecraft. I'm just trying to figure out why suddenly we're seeing more of this crap. I think it's like when Viagra came out, because before Viagra, people just made claims about boner medicine, right? You could buy Dr. Porkenheimer's boner juice and it may or might not work. Is mostly if you believed it
Gas
worked, it
station.
helped.
Try these
Yeah.
Roundup tiger testicles.
Yeah,
They'll get
and
you
then
hard.
something came out that actually worked, which, if anything, caused more of the late night television stuff to suddenly come out. It's like success legitimate success breeds more imitators, not fewer. It's a very strange phenomenon.
The lesson that must be learned and relearned by the economic polity is that there is no such thing as a free lunch. If something, and its corollary, which is if something looks too good to be true, it's too good to be true. Because when a true advance is made in a product where boner pills come out and all of a sudden little blue boner pills appear on late night TV saying they're just as good as, but only cost 1/10 as much. That's too good to be true. But they buy that because, hey, this is amazing. And then they find out that things are too good to be true, are too good to be true. That's why that lesson seems to need to be retaught again and again and again.
Yeah, success moves the Overton window. So because all these amazing things are happening with reusable rockets and, they're coming back to the launch pad and just all the fantastic stuff that's happening, it makes stuff like this seem less unbelievable. And I would love nothing more for them to be right about this. If they want to launch their little satellite and test it out, that's the whole thing. That's how you do science. You've got a testable hypothesis. Test it.
I hope it's true.
Test it.
I hope it's true.
Because especially with something like this, our biggest hurdle right now is the fact that we have to use some sort of chemical propellant, chemical combustion system, and that's we've kind of already gotten to the limits of that sort of type of power generation to have that next step, that next leap forward in that. It would be everywhere. It would be absolutely everywhere. Even if big oil or whatever wanted to try to quash it, you couldn't in today's world. And the success of something would speak for itself. You don't have to have weird fringe articles. It's weird. I'd love for things like this to be true, but it's just weird.
Yeah. Well, we should. I have all these palette cleansers. we've paced ourselves, so we don't really need a palette cleanser, but we can do it even though we don't need it.
Yes. By all means.
Never gonna say no to one.
Here you go, Sora.
Aw.
It's sea otters playing with ice cubes. Isn't that lovely?
I just want to hug one.
They are wolverines that can swim. You really don't want to hug one.
I just want to feel their fuzzy whiskers.
Yeah.
They're
White
smart
friends,
enough to be able to
they
be
just
domesticated. You can
mind
domesticate
you,
one early enough. Sorry.
I want to go up to any fuzzy creature and say hello. So, but I'm better than that. I'm
Yeah.
not.
So Skep.
Stay away from those cute white bears you have up there.
Yeah. So Skep, you mentioned French MREs, I think, last episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I was to tell you you could buy French MREs online, how much do you think they would cost?
French MRE, I would say French MRE would be worth probably $25.
$1, Bob.
Okay, $68.95 for a about to expire later this year 24-hour French MRE. Now this is a day's worth of food, so this is, they don't give you separate breakfast, lunch, dinner, but $68.95 for a ration that's going to expire in 2024.
Do we have a menu?
We do. I thought you might actually like the menus. Let's make those a little larger. So, for instance, menu number 1 is just kebab, meatballs, beef macaroni and pasta, and chicken pate for a starter. Number 2 is chicken couscous with salmon, rice, and vegetables, and tuna pate. Menu 3 is tuna in coconut milk, a poultry tabbouleh, and sardine fillet for starter.
Nice.
Menu 4 is it piperade? I don't know how to say that.
Piperade.
Tuna. What? Piperade?
Broad.
Okay. Beef lasagna and chicken liver pate for starter. We have 5 is beef tortellini, oriental salad, salmon pate, because you got to start with your pate. Now 6, this seems like a really good one. Chili con carne, tuna and ginger salad with duck pate to start. Yeah. 7 is Asian chicken and shrimp, pasta, and salmon salad cod plate. 8 is salt pork and
No.
lentils, sausage and spicy sauce with rice, and
it.
fish and vegetable filling. Okay. Pork, rice, and pineapples, cassoulet, because why wouldn't you want cassoulet with sausage, duck confit, and beans, and deer pate
Yeah.
to start.
Not bad. I like
Yeah.
that one.
You're out in the field. You're out there in the
So,
trenches.
is
the
this-
Germans firing over your head,
Mhm.
and you have pate.
Yeah.
Is this like you choose which menu you want to purchase, or is this all of this is coming?
Well, I mean, in our
Or
case, we overpay to buy whatever's left, right? You know, you could buy these. Sorry, you totally could. I can send you the link. You could buy them, but they're going to expire soon. These are like already are close to the point where they're going to be at least inspected, if not thrown out. Now, if you're in the military,
I'm
you just
interested to.
in the military they trade. Like, you know, you just basically get what you get typically, and then you can trade with your buddies. And actually, you can trade with foreigners. So I guess that's like a 3-to-1 ratio with the American ones to the French ones. So you have to give up 3 American MREs to get 1 French MRE.
That's about right. I would.
Yeah. Well, we have 10 is duck and mashed potatoes with Italian salad, pork pate for
Yeah.
starter. 11 is pistachio stuffed sausage, pork risotto and mushrooms, pork pate and mushrooms for starter. 12 is paella, Strasbourg sausages and pasta with boar pate. And then 13 is farmer hot pot, carbonara pasta, tuna and cheese filling. And 14 is pork cheek with raviolis, gizzards, and quinoa salad to eat cold, starter, tuna, and pickled sauce. I think they eat better than we do.
Yeah.
I've never had a French MRE. I've had American, I've had Israeli, I've had Canadian, and I've had Japanese. They were all dog shit. But this actually sounds decent. I mean, I'd try it.
The people at the Natick Research Institute do the American ones, and they actually do a pretty decent job. Some of it is just regrettable. And everybody knows what the really regrettable ones are, like the vegetable lasagna is one of the famous ones. And God, what was it? There were a few chicken dishes that were supposed to be really bad. I can't remember what it was called. But anyway, I've sort of been
Are you talking
interested.
about the American MREs?
I'm talking about the American MREs. There's a few that are famously bad, and
The chicken one is
it's like Pilot or Ranger or something. There's some weird name to it. Yeah, and I can't remember the name of it.
It's not chicken Kiev.
No.
Kiev it is an MRE, believe it or not.
It's 3 words, and it's like it almost sounds like it should be like something you'd get at a theme park
like
as a kid.
Chicken a la King or something.
No, it's
chicken
weird. It's weirder than that.
cacciatore.
But
Yeah,
like the MRE pizza is not good. I mean, but if you were being shot at and you were cold, it would not be the worst thing in the world.
No, but in board ship, you don't really get MREs.
No,
because
aboard ship you don't.
if you're in battle conditions at ship, you don't even think about eating. Okay, the battles are short and intense, and if anything, you'll take a piece of bologna and a piece of white bread. You can do this in one hand, and roll them up together, and that becomes I'm dead serious. That's exactly what they do, and you can eat that. It'll keep you going.
Well, there's different rations for different services. Obviously, the Navy has completely different requirements. Obviously,
Yep,
but
exactly.
for combat stuff, they're essentially, like in Vietnam, they had stuff for forward observers, and
Yeah.
you have to travel
yeah.
really, really light. So, advanced strike rations are one thing, and then you go to the regular MREs. Then you can go to squad packs, where essentially there's enough food for like 20 guys, right, in this pack. I took one of those one time and took it in when I was playing pool. There was a guy who said he really wanted to try these things. So I took the MRE taco filling. I know I've told this story before. And we brought in like a pack of burrito tortillas and all the fixins. And they actually set up like one of those hot water bath things with the sterno. And we set it up and people just gathered around
steam
while this guy
table.
tried to eat like an entire squad pack of taco filling. He made it through about a third of this. This is like a big guy too. He made it through like a third of it. And the next day it got him so backed up, he had to clock out for his bathroom break. He basically kind of exploded
Yes.
Oh,
and just like broke everything.
Yeah. That's That's the problem. Is those,
He had to clock out for an hour and 20 minutes.
there are some very big, complex proteins.
I like to think of myself as a nice person, but I set this guy up for failure. I mean, and I should feel bad about it, but weirdly I don't.
It's kind of fun, though.
Yeah. Sorry, Ryan.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Sorry
be
for
that
all
as
the
it
fun
may.
at your expense.
Well, we all enjoyed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Made
We had
for
a good time.
made for a great story. Let's see. Do I want to show you this? Sure, I'll show you this. There's a channel that does sort of joke videos, and they do them in a retro style. Maybe you've seen this. This is one is called "How to Write an Email 90s Tutorial." Now I've advanced a little ways in because we're not going to steal their stuff. I just want to give you a brief sample of Smithers O'Neill on how to write an email properly.
After Nimesh received our illustration, that coward ran off and tattled to the discarded wench over in human resources.
Nimesh.
Oh boy, Janice's email sure could use some proofreading. Try completely warranted. Grounds for promotion. The office and have a... Sorry, Janice. I don't speak the language of expired trolls. How should we respond?
Oh.
A. Formally explain this is why her husband left her. B. Head into the office, but bring a firearm for defense. C. Respectfully decline and suggests an alternative solution. As much as I'd get a kick out of A and B, option C is the appropriate choice. Dear Janice, I'm afraid I'm unable to discuss as I am not well versed in communicating with divorcees whose partner...
Okay. So, this is the SkyCorp Home Video channel for anybody who wants to go check out Smithers O'Neill. There's a tutorial on how to be a serial killer. There's a bunch of there's one way to set up your online scam. There's like some, I mean, it's all tongue in cheek, but I enjoy it. It's a little dark, but it amuses me.
What's it called? Sky.
It is the SkyCorp Home Video channel.
Interesting.
Oh, there
Yeah.
it is. Sky. Cool.
So
have dried up and decayed. I suggest we have the entire company, who I've CC'd, weigh in on the affect versus effect debate between Nimesh and I. Who is
oh yeah. This all started because his boss wanted him to use affect and effect inappropriately.
Let's just open up Microsoft Paint here.
I'm good.
In this image, we see how the giant dildo affects or produces a change in Nimesh's attitude. That's one heck of an anal boss if I've ever seen one. And here we see me suffering the effects or results of said attitude. Boy, those sure are some dark thoughts.
Okay. Can see why I enjoy this. All right, well, we'll cross
Very good.
Smithers O'Neill off the done list. Okay. As I've been told, my choice of palate cleansers is you do it to be farting. Yeah, I know. I've seen that one. I chose this one for a reason. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Where do we want to go next?
So beautifully drawn.
Yeah.
Perfectly drawn.
Oh boy, those are some dark thoughts.
Oh my. Oh.
Now let's make fun of Gen Z for a minute. 25% of Gen Zers say they'll need a therapist to deal with tax filing stress. Wow. You know, you say you want to remake society and make a difference and do all this other stuff. You can't even do basic adult stuff. Well, 25% of you can't.
I mean,
Jesus.
I feel them.
I feel them too.
25%
too.
say they need a therapist to deal with tax filing stress.
These
Think
are the
about what
ones who
that
think a
means.
period is aggressive. So
Yeah.
at the end of the
That's right,
sentence,
punctuation.
I can use it, so,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like the thing. A woman planning a budget. Getty Images. Very nice. Yeah. Gen Z's tax document checklist. No, I'm not going to enable this. Just pay somebody to do your taxes and stop complaining.
Almost feels fake though. This is so ridiculous. I really hope it's just fake.
H&R
That
Block is
Annie
cheaper than therapy.
Bobert
Yeah.
is just making it up.
Now,
If
I
Annie Bobert is
I
the
don't
real
understand
Let's
I
see.
don't
Is she a real
understand
person?
Anxiety.
There she is. Looks like she's hanging out near a school zone or something. I'm not sure. I didn't know she was
There's a
allowed to
porta
do
potty
that.
in the background.
Yeah.
No, it's a porta potty in the background. Looks like a
Maybe
construction
she's busy
site.
tearing down a mid-century house.
That's her office.
Is it
Where all
appropriate
her
to have
ideas-
anxiety over
Yes.
filing taxes?
Well, I have
can
anxiety. I just
understand-
don't need a therapist.
I can understand depression. I can understand long-term depression. I occasionally look at my lifetime tax filing statement that you get from. That's almost like the government taunting me every year when they send me my FICA. Here's how much FICA you've paid in your entire lifetime, and I look at it, and it's upwards of $1 million.
They're going to send that back to you, aren't they? Going to send it back to you with
yeah,
interest?
yeah, you get that back, right?
100%, man.
Yeah, it's lockbox. Lockbox. It's there for you.
Yeah. Taxes is easy. I don't do them. Yeah, problem solved. That's called thinking outside of the box.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, yeah. If
You just don't want to get
owe them
locked
anything,
in a
they won't-
box. Oh, that's right. If we go full, you own nothing and be happy. Yeah. At the rate we're just printing money to pay for government expenses, why do we even bother with taxes? Oh, wait, never mind.
That's actually the thing that will destroy money is our debt. Our debt is going to destroy money because one thing you can't really rejigger is the currency within which the world's business is conducted. You can't fix that.
Yeah.
And we have denuded that currency of its value. It used to be held by the faith and credit of the United States, as long as we're productive country leading the world and have a nice leg up on everybody in practically everything. That will work. It stops working when you start to get rough industrial parity around the world, which is what we're achieving. And now you just wait. There's going to be a lot of pressure on the dollar.
Well, putting more currency into the economy actually gives more people access to capital, so they generate more GDP individually.
No, it doesn't.
Right? No, they totally do. By printing extra money, we're empowering people who would otherwise be marginalized from the. I can't even keep saying this shit. Sorry.
No.
No. I'm making myself feel queasy.
Not how any of this works.
Okay, how about this, Skep? Even California fire stations can't get fire insurance.
Wait, what? Wait a minute, what?
California homeowners insurance crisis has left even some fire stations without coverage, which left
How
lawmakers in shock during a
We are a
recent
fire
CAL FIRE budget discussion.
Well, at least they'll be able to fight their own fire.
But even a building full of firefighters who are there, if anything should happen, you can't get insurance because it's in one of the counties where wildfires take place.
Yeah, that's
Well, a lot of the insurance companies are just not writing insurance policies in those areas, and they don't care
Exactly.
how many firefighters are in the building.
they're happy to leave the money on the table.
I don't see why something like this isn't essentially self-insured. Why would a government thing like a fire station need to purchase outside insurance to begin with? I'm unclear on why this is necessary.
There are huge reasons. Huge reasons. For example, they have to have liability insurance. They have to have insurance for the firefighter who leaves a banana peel outside on the sidewalk that's in front of the fire station. Somebody slips and falls. There's a lot of ways to lose money if you own anything that the public can have anything to do with it. So there are reasons that these places need insurance. And if insurance companies are just not writing policies therein, what you're going to find is when insurance companies abandon a place or a set of businesses, they do the same thing to a group of businesses. They tend to die. Or they tend to reform is actually what happens. Nothing dies in America. It just declares bankruptcies and then comes back together as something else. But and that's what will happen.
I don't see why the government should need insurance, though. And my reason is the point of insurance is that
Sovereign immunity?
you as an individual, right, own things that the loss of those things would be catastrophic.
Right.
Now, so what we do is the idea is we pool the risk because, obviously, if this has something that happens to everybody, insurance really isn't the issue, right? But for those infrequent catastrophic losses, you pool the risk. The insurance company, by managing the process well, profits, and then the individual doesn't have to worry about losing everything because of some random event. In the case of a government, I don't understand why a government would have to insure themselves, given that they already are pooling the risk over all of their facilities, and they could post a bond if they really needed to. It's just it doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, no. What happens is saying that they're basically self-insured because they have a broad enough installed base where they'll have the natural, they have a high probability of having a natural distribution or a normal distribution of events where they can afford to self-insure. And that might be true. How much risk they can bear it remains to be seen. The government can be sued. The government can lose money. Sovereign immunity is only partial in.
Well, we're talking about fire insurance on the building. We're not necessarily talking about liability insurance going out. I don't think that how many fire stations have burned down in the state of California? Is it really that big an economic target? I don't want that kind of parasitic drag going on my tax dollars. The question is who benefits from these insurance things? Because when they grant these insurance things that there's probably a little bit of porcine material floating its way back to the people making these decisions. I'm very cynical about this because I'm just cynical.
I think you should be.
It's probably why that cop was chasing that pig. Sorry. Anyway, my confusion.
He's loss prevention manager.
Let's see. What sort of thing would you like to talk about, Functional?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know.
Try harder than yes.
Say food.
Do you want to keep making fun of California? Do you want to talk about science? What do you want to do?
4. I rolled a die and it came 4.
Okay, well, you're going to get this.
So fourth topic.
Because you're being not helpful. Okay, 5 1/4-inch floppy disks expected to help run San Francisco trains until 2030.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yay!
That's what I'm talking about.
This actually doesn't bother me all that much.
No.
As long as you've got spare drives and you can make copies, who cares?
It worked for a very long time.
If the system's old enough that the amount of data actually fits on that, it's like, who cares?
Right. Exactly.
It doesn't make any. Yeah, you should modernize it, but I don't really think it's a big deal. But it's turned into this big lol thing because they found out that they are using not just floppies but old floppies to run some of the train control software.
Most of the 90s functionality for computers was contained in probably 3 programs: Lotus 1-2-3, Microsoft Word, and VisiCalc. Back in the 1990s. You can run a business very effectively with those 3 tools. I mean, there's no reason to expect that this would not work. Once again, as long as you have the infrastructure, as long as you have floppy drives, you have the drivers, the software to run them, and the hardware to run it. I don't see the problem.
Well, there is a train station near the Computer History Museum in Mountain View. So I don't see there's an issue here. Just send a train over to pick up some parts. Actually, reasonably easy walking distance, in fact. All right, so let's just finish making fun of California for now. San Francisco's tiny cabins for the homeless with insane price tag finally open in Mission District.
Oh boy, how much do they cost?
Let's see. So it was like 100-something thousand per thing. So it works out to $113,000 per cabin. But they have like,
Can you,
know,
actually buy these?
How?
no, that's how much it costs to make them, so we can stick homeless people in them to live. They have like a little courtyard
Why?
with some
Oh,
tables.
we're giving them away.
No, we're just letting people stay in them.
Okay, that's called giving them away.
Yeah, yeah. They've got decks, and there's the thing. There's like a bed, and there's a desk, and there's air conditioning.
Whoa.
There's a window.
Whoa.
That's what
Wonder-
$113,000
down.
builds you this. Now you can put an ADU in your backyard that's really 1,000 times nicer than this for a lot less money. $113,000. I mean, yeah, there's a community kitchen, and there's a place where you can do your laundry, and there's a community bathroom, but still, this is a ridiculous amount of money. And they're trying to figure out, like, why does it cost so much? They've done the same thing in other cities, even in California, and it comes in at half this, which is still too much. Okay, don't get me wrong, but San Francisco manages to take too much and then multiply it by 2 and have it take forever to build because it's a city
It's
full of
San
losers.
Francisco.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the London breed method.
London Bree's not even the dumbest one in that town. She's
No, but she's still pretty dumb.
yeah.
And I expect this style of building to start taking place here in Canada.
Oh yeah. Because what's more fun than wintertime in Canada in a shed? It's basically the Trailer Park Boys. They get to pretend to be bubbles. Nobody here's seen Trailer Park Boys but me, I can tell. You guys are sad
Oh, I've
Canadians.
seen Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, you remember Bubbles would live in the shed with his kitties?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
God, that show's terrible, but I love it. Okay, let's see. Tiny homes, check that off the list. I'm getting kind of annoyed. I mean,
She's not stupid. She has a master's degree in public administration.
she does.
Yeah. Okay.
4 is not helpful. Well, we can talk about. Do we want to talk about this?
What was the second one you had? I know it's out of turn for me to.
Well, there's science is the other thing, so we can.
Science. That was science.
I can throw some red meat at people, or we can talk about science. Let's see.
Flip a coin.
Well, let's just quickly go through this thing. So we've talked about Colin Kaepernick and his protesting, right? And all these idiots taking a knee when they're at professional things. Now, my opinion is and remains, you were at work. Your free speech isn't really the issue. You're being paid to go somewhere and perform in public by an employer to make money. When you're at work, it isn't about free speech. You're entitled to whatever viewpoints you want. Outside of work, unless you have a special contract where you're acting as a representative, most people have the ability to say whatever the hell they want. But when you're at work or at school,
You have to adhere to the.
you need to focus on the reason you're there. You need to render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. You need to be there to do the thing you're supposed to do, not just throw a tantrum and then decide that the world owes you something. Now, this applies, in my opinion, to people who I agree with and people who I don't agree with, right? So the NPR guy who came out and said, yeah, this whole outfit is a bunch of liberals and we're not even remotely unbiased. He knew what was going to happen. You can't tell me that he's a smart guy, that he didn't know that this was essentially his saying goodbye to NPR. They put him on suspension and later he resigned. And I have and total respect for him doing that. He made his statement and he knew what was going to happen, and great. Okay, he took one for the team, essentially.
Yeah.
But I would not argue that they have to be required to keep him employed regardless of what he says, any more so than I would argue that Ilhan Omar's daughter should be allowed to do whatever the hell she wants at school. So Ilhan Omar's daughter mocked as psycho after college suspends her for anti-Israeli demonstrations. Or are you there to go to class, or are you there to make noise? Maybe I'm just old school. I just don't see why people who do this sort of stuff aren't prepared to face the consequences. The NPR guy, he faced the consequences. He knew what was going to happen, just like Scott Adams knew what he was going to happen to him when he made those comments about like racial attitudes that got him canceled. He knew.
because up to this point, those people like Ilhan Omar's daughter and stuff saying that they never had to face consequences. Nobody gave
Right.
them consequences to face.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Because if you said something against it, you get smacked down, even though you should be, because you can't have it both ways. Everybody, if you know, we should all be able to criticize everybody, right?
Mhm.
You
So
should,
I think
but
that's
not at
great.
work.
Calmly and peacefully, yes. But I think there's a growing infection in Western society as a whole, where we see a lot of stories of this person, that group, this instance, where the people who aren't being peaceful are being either protected or ignored by the protective establishment, the police, what have you. And so when people like this see that going on, and like you said, they've never personally seen or had to face any kind of consequences. When they do have to face the consequences, like what's her name with the $500,000 bail, they get hit hard with the reality of, well, you got caught, and now you are going to have to face the consequences. And some people, like the previous girl, don't have a representative, aren't a representative's daughter, so she's got some pull, both politically and financially. So she'll probably get a little, but her compatriots who are also part of this rather violent display, they probably won't get off so light.
Well, I've got another example which might split the room a little bit. So,
controversial decision by leaders at the University of Southern California related to the debate raging on many U.S. campuses over the war in Gaza. The school says that it's canceling a planned graduation speech by its valedictorian, Usna Tabussum, due to safety concerns. Now it follows the online response to a pro-Palestinian link that Tabussum posted on her Instagram account.
yeah. So something like this, is she there serving in a capacity, basically performing a role as like, I'm the head of the class, give a speech sort of along certain sorts of lines, or is it her time that she earned by being academically awesome? Because I think it's the former, not the latter. And I don't think that people have a lot of room to complain. Yeah, if you want to say some stuff that's going to upset the administration, fine. I mean, people have done it through time immemorial. But if you're going to sort of telegraph what you're going to do ahead of time, I don't see where they did anything wrong by telling her, okay, we're uninviting you because we have a feeling you're going to cause a disturbance and make it about you, not about the ceremony.
But, aren't you white-splaining the
perpetually
the inner motivations of not just a woman of color, but a deeply accomplished. This woman has accomplished more in her short life than you will ever accomplish. She has written more useful code.
Yeah.
She has been a more useful person, has delivered more to the American economy than you ever can.
Yeah.
Just by being a woman of color. Do you realize the intrinsic value of that? It's like the intrinsic value of labor. It's just there.
Well, I'm white-splaining. I'm also mansplaining. And while I'm sitting, I'm not crushing my testicles like Trudeau. So I'm also man-spreading, but I think that's okay since I'm by myself.
You're incorrigible.
Yeah, I really am. It's pretty bad.
It's a silent offense against all women.
It is.
I mean, it's not like they're stripping anything that she actually, to be serious, which, thank you, Skep, that put a broad smile on my face. To strip her of like her position as valedictorian, like obviously, well, not obviously.
No, she's still valedictorian. She's just not giving the speech.
I'm saying they haven't done anything to take away, and I'm using heavy air quotes here, for merit on becoming valedictorian. They're just saying, well, you're a terrorist supporting, and I say this as a fellow Dune Coon, you're supporting terrorism. You can shut the fuck up, bitch. Just be lucky that we're letting you graduate at this point. And I'm all for it. You want to fuck around, find out? You're your educational institution is not a pulpit for which you to promote your ideology. You and like you said, she telegraphed it like an idiot.
Mhm.
You know, when I forget his name, but he was like, you know, no war in Vietnam, peace out, or whatever. In his speech at was it Berkeley or some Ginsburg? I think it was Ginsburg, or I don't know the guy's name. I forget the names. But anyway, my point is, like, he did that sort of like an off the cuff thing, and it was, you know, it was kind of like that part of me is like, okay, that's whatever. But at the same time, he was, you know, kind of justified. It's not promoting terrorism. In fact, it was quite the opposite. It was saying like peace, not war, kind of thing, messaging.
Mhm.
So that in itself has some intrinsic value to the Western mindset, where her little fucking Instagram posts were nothing but vile bigotry and pro violence.
Yeah.
So,
Imagine my shock.
bye, Felicia.
So I've got one more. Let's see. Who hasn't spoken much about this? I think Sora. What do you think of this story? Google worker says the company is silencing our voices after dozens are fired. Essentially, they found out that Google was working on a project with Israel, Project Nimbus. And it's a $1.2 billion contract to supply Israel with cloud computing services. So they did what people do, and they had like a little sit-in at the cloud service, the head of the cloud services division, to express their discontent. You know, we're working for this horrible company that's providing cloud services to Israel, who need to vacate from the river to the sea or some such nonsense. And a bunch of them have gotten fired. They've been told their presence is no longer required. And I'm totally okay with this.
Bye-bye.
That's fine.
Arrested,
Bye-bye.
removed from the property, and fired.
And honestly, if it was right-wing people protesting a left-wing thing, if your conscience says you can't work at that company, like Functional
So-
said, bye, Felicia.
But so is this in California?
Yeah.
Okay, so in California, from if what I remember from previous stories we did, they don't have to have any reason to fire you, right?
Oh, no.
Is that what it's called?
Well, I
An
think
at-will
Lockheed,
state?
I
So,
think
like,
basically having like a little forced sit-in in the head of the cloud services
no,
guy's
but I mean-
office is reason.
No. You mean a right to work state?
or like
or
you know,
or
they
at
don't
will
have
at
to-
will employers, or where the employer can just fire you for they don't like the kind of shoes you wear.
Yeah, like they come by your desk for some reason and you say you're no longer employed here, go away.
That's it.
They don't have to. Like, I mean, like the reason I'm asking this is because you know, we kind of have to be careful with this saying like we're happy for if people slightly protest or whatever. So I think I misunderstood. So the sit-in was actually they went to the guy's office, so
Yep.
they invaded another employee's space.
Not just employee, the guy in charge of Google
In
Cloud
charge.
Services.
Oh yeah, no, fuck that. That's criminal at that point. That is you can I don't know how it works in the States, but I would, even if the guy wasn't scared or anything, I would call the cops and say was held against. I was not allowed to leave. I feared for my life. This was what's that? A forceful confinement.
Mhm.
Yeah, just fucking throw the book at them. See how it works.
Yeah.
Probably
Well, they
won't
were
go far, but-
employees of Google too, which makes this
Yeah, so it goes
delicious.
against. I'm sure it goes against their some sort of
Standards of conduct.
corporate
Yeah.
culture conduct.
Locking
exactly.
yourself in like a major executive's office and refusing to leave.
Get-
Having a
But
tantrum
also,
in,
like,
in like
you're
the
done.
head of a
You're
division. Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
so they did this.
Yeah.
Then now they're crying, they're silencing our voices. No, they're not. You first of all, you live in a state where they could have, even if you were just grumbling to each other on the floor,
Mhm.
and they fired you for it, you don't have
any
unfortunately,
recourse.
your employment standards. Yeah, it doesn't protect you against that. So there's that. So that's okay. They can do that. Second thing is you probably went against your contract, whatever points that you have had by being antagonistic and violent. Threat of violence is violence. in the workplace, right?
That's not against our
And
contract, man.
all sorts of things. So yeah, no one's silencing you. You are speaking out very clear. They heard you, and they followed what you wanted.
Yeah.
You could not work. You did not want to do a Google Cloud in
Yeah.
And
Israel,
now
and
you're
they said,
not
"I
doing it.
understand."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Community of interest. A community of interest comes together and has a party.
Okay.
It's hard to be sympathetic to people like this. It's like, was it a couple years ago? Who did the mass walkout? Was it for Disney animators or something? Did a mass walkout,
Yeah.
and there was like
And
50
they had no
people or
jobs
something?
when they came back. Yeah.
Yeah,
Goodbye
it was
now.
like 30 to 50 people, and everybody was like, okay, wow, you
See ya.
really moved us, and nobody
Yeah.
cared.
Very, very compelling. Here's a box.
Yeah. Well, hold on. This leads
Well
into
done.
this. Basically, employers avoid hiring Gen Z. I can't think of any reasons why employers wouldn't want to just hire as many Gen Zs as possible, Sora.
Exactly.
Why wouldn't they?
Stay away.
Probably because they're going to lock themselves in their boss's office if they get their fifis hurt. Yeah, they actually did some study, and they found that more hiring managers wanted to avoid Gen Z than old folks. Because, I mean, there's definitely hiring discrimination against older people. For one thing, they tend to be more expensive. And for other things, they worry about cultural fit and all the other sort of BS. But even they were more negatively biased against hiring Gen Z. It was like 40% versus low 30% for older people. Gen Z are the least desirable employees, according to some
That is so
the polled hiring managers.
That is so interesting.
And why wouldn't they be? Well, we have to fix this because society's not going to work with like a huge chunk of it being sidelined. We need every capable shoulder at the wheel doing something
but
rather than nothing.
But see, this is the thing, though.
Yeah.
I want to know where the Gen Zs are, because as we are in my particular work, we are in the process of trying to find another staff member.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody. And the thing is that where we're hiring, we want entry level. So, and it's well above minimum wage because of the type of environment is. And we want two things. We want entry level, and we need someone with a certain certification. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody, and we've even applied to the schools that provide this certification, and there's just nobody. If they agree for an interview, they don't show up. Like, we're talking about the younger. I'm not talking about the crazy person who just walked off. We're talking about the younger people that are just graduated. They don't, and I don't know if they just didn't already get a job at a different office or whatever.
Or do they call you up
But
and say, "Yeah, I got a job
No.
at a different place"?
No.
Really, they don't.
No, they do not. We've had more than 3 different no call no shows,
Shh. No call, no
and
shows.
a lot. It's just like, and they're like, okay, well, great.
I don't.
I mean, it makes life easier, as we know for sure they're not going. We're never going to contact this person. But what a waste of our time, right?
Yeah.
It's a waste of our. It's also a waste of, because it's usually through lunch hour, right? And
But that
we would
person
like
has
to take-
blackballed themselves with your company. That's not a big
but
enough
it's-
industry where you can do that.
Well, it is and it isn't. I'm in the medical field. They're
Yeah.
probably of the idea of it doesn't matter because I can get a job anywhere. If I can't get a job here, they're desperate to hire in the hospitals and this, that, and
Yeah.
to an extent, sure. But what a shitty way to start your
Yeah.
employment career. Employment is part of your adulthood, right? Now, there's also a good chunk here, particularly where I am, where most likely they're getting quite a lot of money and maybe in unemployment. Say they were employed for a short bit, they got laid off, whatever, they're under unemployment, and all they have to show is they are actively trying to get a job. If they keep clicking on the button saying, yes, I'm actively looking, yes, I'm going to interviews, yes, 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 technically it's not fraud. They don't have to show up.
And they can continue to collect their unemployment.
Yeah, until they find a fit where it works for them, or it's they realize like, oh, it's like a legitimate job and it's like really easy or whatever. If you want someone to actually work, a sort of younger person, it's
Mhm.
hard, and I don't think that's a good it's not all, right? It's everybody's, of course it's not all, but it's enough to make you, I understand why they're saying their voice, and this is not even taking into consideration the touchy feely crap
Stuff. Yeah.
that you have to think about, right?
So
I don't know.
these
It's
are
very frustrating.
would these people in this job typically be female?
Yes.
Okay. Because that tends to be the norm for a lot of sort of caring, nurturing things. So you get smart females, they get that certificate, they go there, maybe they're just doing OnlyFans. I don't know. People have options, I guess. Whether it's unemployment or something else, they're just not hungry enough to show up and do the job. That's my cynical way of looking at it. I think it's bad. I don't think it's good for them. I don't think it's good for you. I don't think it's good for society. One of the things I've always enjoyed doing is making people do their job. It's like when I've been in, I've actually told other managers, like, give me that employee because I really want to make them do their job. And they go, okay, fine, I'll fix it. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. Offer stance. Give me that tech writer. I will make sure that she does her job. I'm really, really, really enjoying making people work. It's one of my hobbies. I know I'm a terrible human being.
I wonder what kind of fields this article is referring to, these studies, because it seems like
it just says hiring managers. It doesn't say what kind of hiring
they're
managers.
probably stupid office jobs. And where my mind goes is like, in our generations, like, you started off by digging ditches or working a mick job or something, just to as a young teenager to sort of start learning. Like, it all boils down to education or lack thereof. And I'm not talking about schooling. I'm talking about education, about learning about responsibility and fiscal planning and all these things that even though we moved from the farm into a more urban setting, you still learned very early on these lessons that were very important to the types of jobs that you now are looking for in your early 20s and late 20s. And just, I see it playing out in real time. Although I also see, like Sora said, her office is having a hard time. I hear it from my sister and friends, like, their businesses are struggling to find people to fit these positions. That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a big problem.
Yep. Hey, Star Wars fan.
Yo,
Check this out.
I think we're all Star Wars, aren't we?
I gotta kill that music. So remember that thing with the airplane? Let's just put a Millennium Falcon on it.
Pretty funny.
This is so cool. This is what dudes do when they have too much free time.
Nice.
It's at the airport. This is so wholesome.
Excellent.
Oh, I like that so much.
I miss Star Wars.
Look at that bucket of bolts go. Whee!
Yeah, you can do the Kessel run in
Bucket of
5
bolts.
parsecs or whatever the hell.
She'll make the Kessel run in less than 8 parsecs.
8 parsecs.
Oh, I
That's-
like that so
Oh,
much.
That's really
I like
cool.
that.
I like
Hey,
that.
look, it's Clint.
That's excellent.
What? Oh, you mean
Clint
in
Howard.
the Clint Howard?
Yeah.
Where? Oh, this
Right
one.
there.
Yeah. I wish
It's
we
his
could click
birthday
on that,
today.
but we can't.
Or yesterday.
Ah,
Shares a birthday with Hitler.
excellent. I thought that was kind of cool. I like that. I've been saving that for a
That'd be
bit.
great.
I
Let's
wouldn't
see.
share my birthday with Villa.
Yeah. So how about one science article? You up for one science article?
Hell yeah.
Oh wait.
Okay.
Science.
So something that has only happened twice before that we know of in the entire history of the Earth. We have one more documented case. This makes the 3rd time we've ever observed this particular thing happening. If I can find it, it would be really, really awesome. Let's see.
Just
Killing the
imagine
mood.
it.
Security.
The momentum is gone. It's
Yeah, I
lost.
know. It's just terrible.
I think this is called edging.
Okay. 2 life forms merge in once in a
Woo.
billion year evolutionary event.
Oh, cool.
So, last time this happened, Earth got plants. Scientists have caught a once in a billion years evolutionary event in progress as 2 life forms have merged into one organism that boasts abilities its peers would envy. Last time this happened, Earth got plants. Essentially, chloroplasts were formed a symbiotic relationship as part of a cell, and you got plants. This isn't a thing that happens particularly often, but when it does happen, it can be a pretty huge game changer. The other one example they give is mitochondria, which are really good at energy production. So mitochondria live inside the cell. They have their own DNA. They're going about their business. They actually reproduce on their own in response to different stimuli. They aren't really part of your genome. There's something that you just sort of inherit, these organelles that are inside the ovum from the mother, which is why you trace mitochondrial DNA from the mother. So the ovum from the mother has these things in it. It divides to form the cells in your body after fertilization. Those divided cells have the mitochondria, rinse, lather, and repeat. All of those mitochondria are the same mitochondria that you basically got from your mom. And because they don't reproduce sexually in any sort of way, there's really not a lot of transcription errors. So it's a much more timeless kind of DNA without nearly as much rot. So these little friends that we carry around, these mitochondria, are a big deal. You know, they're a big deal. But it's happened again. A species of algae called Shemp was found to have engulfed a cyanobacterium that lets them do something that algae and plants in general can't normally do. Fixing nitrogen straight from the air and combining it with other elements to create more useful compounds.
What?
Yeah.
That's cool.
That is really cool.
How did I not?
Yeah. So a cyanobacteria was absorbed by an organism, and now it can essentially fix nitrogen straight from the air. And this is the picture of the little bugger right here. Algae, I can't even begin to pronounce this. Rudosphera bigelowii has been found to have absorbed a cyanobacteria called UCYNA, which may help it be a step forward for evolution. Yeah, this is the only third example we've got of something like this happening. Pretty awesome. I mean, I don't even really like biology articles that much, but this is actually above the threshold where I start to care.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that too. This is one of those things where biology gets interesting for me. This type of thing. Most biology is, it's just bottle collecting and button sorting. It really is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of probability and statistics, and you're figuring chi-squares on population, stuff like that. But mostly biology is about enumerating things and noticing things and looking for trends. And lately to influence the biome. This is a fascinating thing. It's hard to even imagine what this means.
Yeah. Well, we talked about the nova explosion, and this article doesn't have a lot of new information. Go away. My ad blocker is on and will remain on.
Yeah.
But this artist's conception of what's happening in the nova is here. So you basically have like a basically dead star. Material accumulates on the outside of it because it's near this giant, and then once the pressure of the accumulated material gets to be great enough, it suddenly starts doing fusion all at once, and you get this huge explosion.
Yeah.
So this image, I think, demonstrates what a nova is, and every 80 years, it basically starts over, builds up more stuff, and then the nova happens. And during that brief moment, it is the brightest thing in its neighborhood. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really hoping we can get a good look at this thing. Oh, by the way, there is a comet that people can see tomorrow It should be near the horizon about an hour after sundown. You'll need binoculars to go take a look at it. I personally find looking at comets with binoculars to be kind of boring because you really just see a fuzzy snowball. You don't see color.
Right.
You don't really see the tail.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why I didn't really bring it up. But this nova, I think, is going to be some pretty cool stuff. I'm hoping that it's naked eye. I really am hoping this is something interesting is going to happen in the sky.
Are you talking about Beetlejuice or
No.
Okay.
This is a nova that's happening. Why? Let's see. I'm sorry. It's in it's the
What?
binary system T Coronae Borealis.
Oh, it's in Corona. We can't
Yep.
see it.
Oh, it's low, but we can see it in the northern
Yeah,
hemisphere.
we can barely see it.
I don't know if functional can see it or, but you can, and I can.
Well,
You and I probably can see Corona.
It might be too low for the Canadians, but it should be fine for us.
I will, because we live in such a wonderful time that there are these tools that can share this information, and I'll be able to look through
this
somebody
internet
else's
thing?
telescope on the other side of the continent.
The internet?
This is
Yeah,
that
the
internet
the
thing.
internet and the telescopes that are going to be observing this. I can watch it just as good as the astronomers do.
The internet thing's going to be big.
Yeah, it can be more gooder.
More.
That's why I didn't even care about going out and seeing the eclipse like firsthand with the glasses and all. No, I just saw the NASA broadcast on the internet. I was like, hey, that's cool. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
But that was good enough for me because like I get to see it without any sort of harm or danger.
Yeah, you can be sitting down, man spreading, and just look at your computer. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm going to be looking an
Yeah.
hour after sunset tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to look up a little more precise.
Yeah, let's see. Do we want to do one more? Oh yeah. Okay, we'll do one more just for fun. I think you guys are going to like this. Aluminum siding came in contact with electrical line causing
What happened then? Ooh, energized aluminum. Hot damn.
bzzzt. Okay.
Yay! I came back to pretty sparkles.
Yeah, this is what happens when an electric line hits aluminum siding.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's pretty.
yeah, that was fun.
I would say that that probably grounded it.
All right, so we good? We've done our 2
We're good.
hours. We ready to say goodnight? Anybody have anything else before we go?
Good night, Gracie.
All right, well,
Be good people.
Minions, Zoo, panel. Thank you, panel. Thank you, chat.
Can't we all just get along?
Can't we all just get along? No, I appreciate everybody showing up.
Bite me.
I appreciate everybody watching. Good night, everybody.